Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. One of the things that I like about Dr. Jordan Peterson is the fact that the man doesn't like to mince words. He says things how he sees them. And in today's day and age, unfortunately, that is quite rare because, well, if you do say what you think and you provide reasons as to why you think that way, you can be likely cancelled for thinking those things that a lot of people these days disagree with you on, especially when it comes down to the transgender issue. Men who claim to identify as being women and entering into female-only spaces, if you say anything negative against that, you can be likely cancelled. I know it's been happening to me quite considerably of late and in the past. It happens because for some reason, society has accepted these people as being, quote, normal in our society. In fact, it is become so accepted, in fact, that men can now choose to identify as being women, and women will actually defend real men over the basis that they don't want to get in trouble themselves. And I think it's rather absurd, if you ask me, because in reality, well, if we were living in an actual reality that made sense, that wouldn't happen. But today, unfortunately, people are so worried about offending the next person or upsetting a person that is identified as something they're actually not, that they're more than happy to actually negate and wreck their own rights, their own sex-based rights as being a female, to do just that, which I think is ludicrous. The reason why Sal Grover is in court at the moment is because, well, she's fighting for women's rights. It's bigger than just her. She's fighting for all women to say, look, if a judge can go, sex is changeable. No, it's not. That's problematic. That is actual lunacy in all its glory, if you ask me. And the law, if it dictates that women don't have actual rights, but these people that have chosen to identify as women somehow do, which is interesting to me because they've got to put trans in front of it and they're not actually real women, but they seem to have more rights than the likes of actual real women, biologically speaking, and actual science and reality speaking too. Now, Jordan Peterson went on Piers Morgan, and he's been rather outspoken about this trans madness, which has got him in trouble a lot for speaking out about it. And all credit goes to Jordan Peterson, honestly, because I was listening to him, and it was actually his interview with Helen Joyce that got me down this rabbit hole and going, what is happening to our society? What is going on? I need to start speaking out about this madness. And the more I dove into it, the more obviously I uncovered and how crazy it actually is. Now, look, if you are an adult, and I think in today's society, you're not really an adult until you hit the age of 25, when your frontal lobe fully develops and you can actually make sense of things. But nevertheless, the law will dictate, even though the law nowadays is changing so much, it's quite absurd that it does. But nevertheless, because the law says that you are an adult at 18, depending on where you are in the world, you can't even drink in America until you're 21, I think it is. Here in Australia, you can be 18, I think, which goes to show you. I mean, you can't even get a tattoo until you're 18, I think it is as well. But yet you can do an irreversible surgery on yourself. You can do something absolutely crazy, like cutting off healthy body parts as a young person. And you got to get the consent of your parents. But also, more than that, at 18 or beyond, I can't say anything to go, you know what, stop what you're doing, because you're an adult. Supposedly, according to the law, you can make your own decisions. By all means, go and do that. I do have an issue, but even still, like, I can't really stop you from doing it. Just because you're an adult and you want to do something doesn't make it a good thing to do. Doesn't make it a wise thing to do. People seem to forget that point, and they go, I don't care what you do. By all means, go ahead and do it. Yeah, like, I think as a friend, if one of my friends came out and said to me, hey, I'm going to transition, I'm going to cut off a healthy body part, I think I want to say something to them. I think I would lovingly come alongside them and go, no, mate, you're an idiot, and here's why. In a loving kind of sense. But nevertheless, if it's someone that I don't know, I can't stop them. I can warn them, but I can't stop them. But it also doesn't negate the fact that these so-called professionals that are profiting big time, and all the other big players in this too, like Jeff Bezos, that are profiting enormously from this lucrative money-making machine that is the transgender money-making machine of, kids that don't and can't consent to cross-sex hormones, puberty blockers, or even surgery for that fact. But no, the adults that are supposed to know better, they don't know better, because they're all going, oh, this person says that they are something they're actually not. And you know what? The law has said that I can't say anything bad about it. The law has stopped me from actually doing common sense. It's ridiculous. And one of the things that Jordan Peterson quite often says is prison for the liars and the butchers, because I personally haven't seen anything close to what's going on in our society today, except for the horrific Joseph Mengele experiments that he did during the Holocaust, during World War II. And that's saying something. Nothing really comes equivalent, although I think in ancient times with the torture methods that they would implement on Christians, that is, that's another level entirely. Some of the things that they did during the Roman times, just for sport and just for fun, it goes to show you that some people back then and even today are truly, truly horrific individuals. Like, they used to laugh and ask for more bloodshed. They used to revel in the fact that Christians would be torn apart by lions. I know that might be a little bit graphic, but read the Fox's Book of Martyrs. My goodness me, is that an eye-opening book? Yeah, that really shocked the hell out of me as a young teenager, believe you me. I could not believe for the life of me that's going on, or that did actually happen to Christians. But it did. We got historical records of it. And today, we've got even more record of what's been taking place. Young kids being butchered and mutilated at the hands of this cult. Cult-like mentality is, if you say that you're something you're not, we're going to believe you, and so be it. Go ahead and chop off your healthy body part. I think that is, honest to God, insane. And the so-called professionals that are affirming this, they need to rot in hell and rot in prison, because my goodness me, we've never seen in this day and age anything like what we're seeing today. So have a watch of Jordan Peterson literally shock Piers Morgan at the real issues that are surrounding our modern world today because of the transgender issue.
You said at the beginning of this interview that I tend to say things that are, let's say, incendiary, so I might as well do that right now. I think that every single medical professional and psychological professional who has been, who's played a role in facilitating the trans butchery of minor children should be put in prison for the rest of their lives for crimes against humanity. It is the worst medical and certainly psychological scandal that I've ever seen in my entire life. And the only things that I've seen that rival it are the medical experiments that were conducted by the Nazis and the Japanese in the running up to World War II. It's absolutely 100% unforgivable. And that lie they told Elon Musk, would you rather have a live trans child or a dead child? There's never been a single bit of evidence to suggest that has no grounding whatsoever in empirical fact. It's an absolute bloody lie. It's pathological beyond belief. We know in the United States, for example, that at least 8,000 young women have been subjected to double mastectomies, minors. And that's the documentation on the insured medical procedure side. So there's a lot more than that. And I also know that puberty blocking drugs are available outside the medical community in the black and gray market at a much higher rate than is occurring within the medical space. And that the fact of this trans epidemic, which is exactly what it is, it's a psychological epidemic, and the liars say those children are all now free to show their true identity, which is another complete bloody lie. All of that's it's so unacceptable. It was so sad to hear Musk walked through that. I mean, there's a world of grief behind that story, and there's plenty of stories like it.
Also, the Japanese did some pretty horrific experiments and torture techniques to some of the Allied prisoners. If you haven't looked into that, I highly encourage you to do that, because it comes close to what these butchers and these liars are actually implementing to the likes of innocent young kids. And the psychological framework surrounding this is also an interesting one, because if you look at the mental and the psychological aspects of a young child that claims to be something they're actually not, and the parent goes, you know what, child, I'm going to give you exactly what you say that you want, because I am actually scared that you're going to be taken away from me thanks to the law. But also the other element to that is the fear factor. What fear has done to a person's psychic to go, I need to go along with this, because, you know, it's a case of psychological intervention for sure, but also the law. The law has made it incredibly hard for parents to actually parent, even if they want to protect their child. They can't. They're lied to. The gaslighting and all of this. There's so much to this madness that it goes sometimes well beyond my level of understanding, because it is so complex. I don't think any rational human being could come up with something this evil. That's why I think it is from the pits of hell. It is from the devil, and he is working in the hearts and the minds of all these people. And the ones that actually affirm it are equally as guilty. I think there's like a lot of demon possession going on, but that's just me. But I know that there are people that watch my show that are in the trans community, and I know that you guys claim to be happy, and I'm not going to say anything about that. If you claim to be happy and it's working for you, by all means, so be it. Like I'm still against butchery, irreversible surgery. I'm still against changing something that's been there, that's been given to you, and it's healthy, just because of a psychological disconnect between the brain and the body, which I think you need to get a realignment there. But anyway, it's been taken away thanks to mad people. We see videos on TikTok, which again is the bane of all human existence at the moment. That is an educational, or I should say indoctrinating. Get my grammar correct. I'm tired, guys. I'm sorry. I'm still trying to recover from a very, very long couple of months. But anyway, I've been working hard for you all. Nevertheless, TikTok is indoctrinating young kids, and I would hope to God that it does get banned, because yes, I'm all for free speech, but my goodness me, is TikTok just destroying the hearts and the lives of countless young people. We're seeing videos of young kids showing off their healthy body parts being removed, and they're saying it's trans joy. It's sickening to actually see, because these young people have been lied to. Like, they've been lied to by people that says that you're going to feel better after you've cut off a healthy body part. That to me makes no sense whatsoever. Like, and people say, oh, it's after they've received a great deal of psychological help. What psychological help then goes, oh, the only way to help you after all this time spent dealing with the brain, strategies and everything like that, the only logical thing after this is to go, all right, cut off your healthy breasts, and then you're going to feel better psychologically. No. I mean, come on, man. Like, that is, to me, that just doesn't seem right one bit. And as someone that, you know, was going to be a therapist for a little bit, I wanted to help people, but I don't think that's helping people. I think that's making things worse. And the whole lie of, what would you rather, a live trans son or a dead child? Like, that to me is another disingenuous lie. There's no evidence at all, none whatsoever, that life gets better after they've transitioned, and life doesn't get any, like, it still remains the same. So anyway, I am all in favor of what Jordan Peterson says. I think the man is courageous, and well done, Piers. All credit where credit is due for having him on. And, you know, I know Piers is against some of the trans stuff for kids. So I'm happy about that. Like, I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater and say he's all bad. Yes, he lies. Yes, he doesn't do things that I agree with, but that's not like, you know, people may disagree with things that I do and I say. So it's the world we live in. Like, we're grown-ups. Doesn't mean you can not talk about it. Anyway, that's enough from me. You guys take care. You be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.